Hi, welcome back. This is a colouring video for Colour With Me because it's relaxing. Today's colour is actually done by PeachExcitingDesigns, and she's very kindly allowed me to video one of her pieces of art. Obviously, it's always good to get permission. Anyway, the one that I picked was this one. And this one here, because I liked the floralness of it, and and it's got fairly big sections in it. And if you look at a lot of her work, I'll just go back on the browser. A lot of her drawings, her style is like that, and so they're very fun to colour in, and I just like the style of her art because the lines are quite thick as well. Where if you get really thin lines when you're colouring, it can be a bit of a pain. Not impossible, but when you've got these nice thick lines, this makes life a little bit easier. And I like the general style. It's not, I don't know how it was made, whether it was drawn or done on software, but it gives you more of a hand-drawn feel. I mean, they're all done by hand anyway, but you know what I mean when it's all digitized and stuff. But it's a really good style, and I liked it. So this is the one I used. And if you want to follow along or do color your own one, it's PeachExcitingDesigns in Etsy. So, and what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you two colouring styles. You got this one, which is using multiple colours and blending them in, and the other style is this one, where I've picked one colour mostly, and I've used different shades of that one colour. You can do the same thing on if you were doing it with pencil, because this comes in a PDF. I'm doing it obviously on my pad, but if you're doing it with pen and pencil, you can do the same effect on both of these styles, on digital or paper. It's really down to the blending with the pen or pencil. And yeah, I mean, I haven't finished it yet, because when you're doing this style of colouring, it takes a very long time. That's actually about an hour's work, believe it or not, and this is another hour's work. So the video that you're going to see is speeded up, obviously, but you're looking at 2 hours worth of colouring. But I wanted to show you this style. I mean, you could just colour plainly, and you could probably fill the whole page in a couple of hours, but when you're doing mindful colouring, you want to be able to just take your time. And yeah, anyway, let me crack on with the video. We'll get into the speed color now, and I'll chat with you in there. So see you in a sec. Okay, what we're looking at here is the start of this colouring, and I won't be talking all the way through this video, so don't worry. I'm just checking the brushes there, make sure I'm on the brush and I'm on the right layer. Sometimes if you're using a pad like this, it's good to lock the layer that with the picture on, just in case you accidentally start drawing on your picture layer. Now the strokes I'm using here is I'm sort of doing small circling strokes. I do long ones now and again, but mostly it's short strokes, because I want the white of the paper to come through. And at some parts of the drawing, I actually use the white of the paper to for the light source. So small strokes. The brush I'm using there is a very cloudy soft brush, as you can see, it's quite transparent, and that's because I wanted to build up on the colour. I didn't want solid colour, so I made it sort of like that. So I'm able to put a base colour down, and that's pretty much my style, and I'm sure a lot of people do it that way anyway. They put like a foundation down and then build up on that. And here I'm changing the mode to multiply. As you can see there, when you have it on multiply, because I'm unable to put the paint layer underneath because it's not a PNG, you put it on multiply so that if you draw on the black lines, it doesn't show the paint on the black lines because it's on multiply, so they're very, very unnoticeable. Obviously if it was a PNG and transparent, I would paint underneath the black lines and then it wouldn't matter. And I'm blending in there a different colour just to give it the look I was after. I think this is speeded up about eight times speed. I do slow it down now and again to show things. And that's on the other end of the artwork. I thought because there was two parts that looked very similar, so I thought I'd just colour them the same. Yeah. So the trick is if you're doing a colouring for mindfulness purposes, you have to relax and just become mindful into the moment. The trick is to really just take your time, and hence this first half took about an hour. I was just really taking my time. And if you find yourself wanting to rush it to get it finished as quickly as you can, then you're not being mindful, because our ego minds are saying, "Oh, come on, let's get this done." So you're losing the meditational benefits. So if that's the case, then maybe it's good to actually stop, unless you can bring yourself back into the moment, and tell the ego mind to bugger off basically and get back onto your colouring, which is basically most of the time what I do. But if you just can't relax, if there's something going on and you just can't get into that moment, then leave it, come back to it. The idea of it is just to really take your time, enjoy the colouring, enjoy the moment, and experiment. That's what I was doing. I was just experimenting with the colours there and the blending, and you just have fun with it. And then you'll experience the benefits of the meditation. I remember probably when we were kids, when we were colouring, it was rush, get it coloured, so I suppose that's programming in us, isn't it, to sort of rush through it. But when you sit down to do this exercise, your mindset is purely for the relaxation of it and the meditational value. So rushing it isn't the objective when we're doing it. I found this artwork actually quite good. As you can see, there's a lot of big areas that you can play with colour and lines. I could have put light in the middle of that to make it look like a glimmer, but I only just thought of that looking at it. You could really play with this on this colouring page. It had a lot of different shapes there to colour. I'm not too keen on small detailed colouring. I find that a bit tedious, to be honest. There's tiny little areas. I like to have these big bulky areas to colour. I know adult colouring is more compact, like more compact drawings, whereas a child colouring page is more white space, large colouring areas. But I like this one because it was a bit of a mix of the two, sort of like an intermediate, maybe a teenage colouring page, I don't know, but it was sort of a mix, so that's what drew me to it. That's the sort of pages I like to colour anyway. I mean, everyone's different, but yeah, so I had great fun actually with this, and I will obviously finish off the colouring, but I just wanted to make a video showing the two styles I was using. But I love experimenting, and because it's on digital you can get away with experimentation more, I suppose, because obviously I could have just deleted the layer and started again, but then again you can do the same on paper, I suppose. If you're printing it out, you can just print yourself another copy, so it's good to experiment. And yeah, it was good fun. So if you pop along to the Etsy store and grab a copy, she does lots of good colouring pages there. I quite like this one, that's why I picked it. This actually comes with 2 PDFs, so that was good. But as you can see, I mean, time wise, colouring, you know, that's going to last you a week, isn't it? Well, it lasts me a week if I was working on both of them. I was doing these circles here, and I don't know if you noticed, but I'm putting a line at the top. Yeah, I slowed it down there, look, just to create a bit of interest and shadow there, just to give it a bit of depth. Although throughout this whole first part I wasn't really concentrating on shadow and depth, but I just couldn't resist it. So I was adding that in there. I wasn't darkening the paints, I was just going over it again, because the brush is quite transparent, a bit like a watercolour. So that's what I was doing. If I was using a pencil on paper, I'd be doing a very light sketching and then going over the top with the pencil, which I'm sure you're probably used to, and that, you know, you get the same effects. That's basically what I'm doing there. So yeah, okay, well I'm going to shut up for a minute and let you relax, because I find watching someone colour quite relaxing. So I'm just going to shut up for a bit and let you enjoy the rest of the first part of this video, and I'll talk again in a sec when we get onto the other style. So talk again in a minute. this is the second part where I was using a different style. I was basically picking the colour out there, and again I'm doing short strokes, and at the base of those buds I'm giving it a bit more paint, just to make it a little bit darker at the base and lighter at the top. You might notice I'm leaving white space at the top of the buds. That's just to, to give the impression of light, and I do that throughout this style, leaving white space for light. And I'm trying to make it darker around the edges and at the base, just to give it a bit of dimension. And then what I do is I keep the same colour, but I take it down to make it darker. So same colour but just darker, and gives it that sort of more depth and dimension. And because it's the same colour on top of a lighter version of the colour, it blends in quite good. At one point I did experiment with a blending brush, but I didn't like it. You can see there it's actually the same colour but darker, even darker now. And I'm doing it around that edge just to give it a bit of direction with light and shadow. On most of them I did it around both sides. I'm just sort of playing around with it there. And you can see I sort of took it around the other side. It's quite fun experimenting with shadow and light when you're colouring, I think. It's like you're watching the drawing transform in front of you, changing from a flat image into an image that almost looks like it's popping out of the page. I thought I'd put a bit of green in. Same technique, keeping it dark down to the base and trying to make it lighter as it goes up, leaving bits of whites in there. I suppose if on paper I could use a bit of a white gel pen, so you get the same effect. But that's the beauty of digital. I mean, I could just come back in with white and add it on. So there you go. It's a very dark green there now, giving it a bit more of depth. And the brush I'm using is the same brush as I was using before. It's quite a messy brush because it's like a very cloudy, smoky brush and soft. But I quite like that look of, it gives it like a rough paint look almost. So I quite like it. I think this is where I tried using the blending brush there, and I didn't really like it. So I thought I'd just blend it, using the colours themselves. I wasn't too impressed with the blend. I think the blend on digital is better when it's more of a solid colour. Well, I find that. So I'm mixing two colours there, orange and sort of pink. You notice I've got white I've left on top and on the tip, although in some places I did go over it. So you're getting a bit of light and shadow there, and it just gives it a bit of dimension, I found. And it really was fun playing with light and shadow like that. I mean, I'm using that like a base colour like I did with the other part. So I'm putting the base down, which is quite light pink, and then I just built up on it with darker pink. And at one point I used black, just pure black, and that really made it pop. So it came out pretty well. Quite impressed with that. But it's always good to experiment, because I like that when I'm colouring on paper. I like the granite, the black pencil, not black, but the pencil. It's not sort of grey black, isn't it? Always fun. Yeah, I found that quite relaxing, playing with the shadow and light. enjoyed that. I don't know if you noticed, but I finished the first bud there with the orange and that to see what it looked like, and then I liked it, and then I just went along and started doing it on all the others there. So it was sort of like a feeler. So yeah, there you go, it's a darker pink. Starting to build up that dimension now with that pink. It's a little bit tricky there because I'm dealing with two colours on the end, so I had to sort of bring it up and stop. So obviously I have to use a different orange, dark orange. So I think what I'm pointing out here is that you can create dimension with using the same colour, just making it darker. A lot of people, I think, just use black straight away, because black is shadow, but as you know, shadow is not always black. It's quite a mix of colours. So, but meditational wise, that was really fun. It was just like you're watching it pop out of that page. It was really good. Quite enjoyed that. It may be great to see your work. I'm still sort of setting up a Flickr group, and you know, go on Instagram. Pop your links in the chat down there. Don't be shy. Yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Let you enjoy the rest of the drawing as it pops out of that page. Yeah. Remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and give us a thumbs up. It all helps and motivates me to keep going with the videos. And always good to see your comments. Great stuff. Talk again soon. Take care.